There will now be an opportunity for silent prayer or meditation. May we be seated. Thank you. Statements by members. Honorable Mlombo.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me greet you and greet the Honorable Premier in her absentia, the members of the executive, and my colleagues, the whips of the opposition, and the honorable members. Honorable Speaker, I rise to render a statement in appreciation of the Mpumalanga Tourism and Parks Agency because they have signed a memorandum of understanding with the Mpumalanga House of Traditional Leaders. The aim of the memorandum of understanding is to establish and maintain areas of collaboration. The signing of this memorandum of understanding, Honorable Speaker, is in line with both the entities' respective mandates, especially in the tourism and management of nature and conservation. Tourism is one of the province's economic drivers and has the potential of being a catalyst for the significant economic growth and development in rural communities, with the potential of broadening the participation of the previously disadvantaged individuals and communities in the tourism and conservation sectors. Honorable Speaker, since the communities in the tourism and conservation sectors and the House of Traditional Leaders are the custodian of land in the traditional communities, this memorandum of understanding will accelerate the recovery of the tourism. I want to close this thing. It will accelerate the recovery of the tourism sector and aspire to accomplish the target set out in the 5-year strategy and the adopted tourism sector recovery plan for the province. This memorandum of understanding will be intensified by the provincial government through the support of those involved in the tourism and nature conservation sectors. Honorable Speaker, as the ANC, we appreciate such a remarkable initiative to ensure that our interventions are intensified. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Manzini.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me welcome the statement by the Honorable Chief Whip, and indeed, Mpumalanga is a rural province, and most of our municipalities are under traditional leaders. So it is a good move to make sure that we do have such memorandum of understanding, especially in the tourism sector, so that we can also boost our local economic development through those municipalities and the involvement of Ubukosi, as correctly put it by the Honorable Chief Whip, that they've got land that they can also assist our people to make sure that they create jobs, they invest, and also contribute through our local economic development in the province. So we really appreciate that. Indeed, that is a move towards the right direction. Thank you.
Are there any member statements? Honorable Chirwa.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Greetings to yourself and all honorable members. Honorable Speaker, the African National Congress notes that we discussed following the attack of Dr. Esther Mahlangu over the weekend. Dr. Esther Mahlangu is a well-known international artist. She was attacked and robbed over the weekend at her home in Siabuswa. The perpetrator, who is still at large, allegedly punched the old lady at the age of 87, Dr. Matlangu, in her face, and tied her hands with a cable and strangled her until she became unconscious and made off with an undisclosed amount of cash. Honourable Speaker, Dr. Esther Matlangu is known for her bold, large-scale contemporary paintings that reference her Ndebele heritage. She was also conferred with an honorary doctorate by the University of Johannesburg on the 9th of April 2018. It is shameful that our senior citizens are now being targeted by heartless criminals. Speaker, the Mpumalanga Premier, Mayor Refuge Tshwanetsipane, has recently visited her and committed to beefing up security of the renowned artist. We hope that the law enforcement agencies will swiftly handle this matter with tenacity and the urgency it deserves. We wish her a speedy recovery. I thank you.
Honorable Shongwe.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Indeed, the Honorable Premier led a delegation of MECs together with mayors to go and visit Dr. Esther Matlangu. And as a provincial government, we want to condemn the barbaric act of those perpetrators and the safety and security through the MEC with the police. They committed that they are hunting those perpetrators, and very soon arrest will be made. And we want to say, as this legislature, that the attack on elderly people cannot be supported, including women and children. So we want to say to Dr. Matlangu and family, lokhu bavelele nathi siyakukondema njenge hulumende wesifundza nokuthi ke bonke abaqoqwe lamadoda lawa la target abantu labadzala labahlala bodwane babarebe babamukete ibhamtabo bababophe babashaye ababoshwe bahambe bayofela ejele.
Honorable Nyempe.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Good morning. The economic freedom fighters rise to raise a member statement about the 25.1 million spent from March to August 2020 by the Hertsibande District Municipality on COVID-19 relief programs. Honorable Speaker, the Hertsibande District is currently not discussing the report titled, I quote, Report on COVID-19 Procurement and Expenditure, unquote, because it involves an ANC Deputy Secretary, Linda Masina, who was charging 1,000 per load, while the amount per load was appointed at 600 Rand per load. It is discussing that the deregistered company, Indlunkulu Transportation, was also awarded a tender. Honorable Speaker, the 7 local municipalities in Hertsibande were given only 1.6 million of the 25.1 million. For how long will the shenanigans of the ANC be swept under the carpet? Our very own Premier, Honorable Refile Motshweni-Tsipane, in August 2020, announced on public platform that independent team of investigators will probe the corruption around the use of COVID-19 funds. She even released a procurement disclosure report on 19 August 2020 in front of the journalists at the government complex. Honorable Speaker, we are in 2022 now. We haven't seen the fruits of that publicity stunt. If this August House is against corruption and want a clean government, why are the reports made with public funds are kept under the carpet? The EFF wants a provincial administration court that will promptly respond to incidents of corruption with the aim of firing, blacklisting corrupt provincial employees and private companies and recovering money lost due to corruption. I thank you.
Honorable Shiba.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for an opportunity. Let me greet you, the Chief Whip of the Majority Party, as well as honorable members. I want to welcome the statement raised by the honorable member, and further to say that, Honorable Speaker, you will remember that you have held a roadshow from a public protector together with our honorable Premier, and you will also remember that every issues that have been raised in terms of PPEs, where the Honorable Premier tasked myself as a leading Department of COGTA to investigate all those issues and also to report back. So the issues that is raised will also be investigated. Thank you very much.
Honorable Morgan.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Greetings to the House. Honorable Speaker, I rise to deliver a statement on behalf of the Democratic Alliance. The Honorable Premier stated in her most recent SOPA address that, I open quote, "The elephant in the room for us is the persistently increasing number of unemployed people in this province. Critical concern to us is youth unemployment in general," close quote. Honorable Speaker, it is unfortunate that corruption within certain spheres of government is adding to the elephant in the room. Not too long ago, the MEC of COGTA, Honorable Shiba, promised to report back to the August House on the status of the artisan program of 2019 between City of Mbombela and MTL training and projects, which is funded by EWSETA. Excuse me. The artisans were appointed and given contracts on 8th of April 2019. They were not provided with toolboxes nor adequate PPE. Since November 2021, multiple meetings have taken place, and it is more than evident that there are irregularities with this program, as neither Mbombela local municipality, CETA, nor the Honorable MEC Shiba has managed to resolve this problem, which leaves these artisans with a very bleak future. Honorable MEC, what is government going to do to rescue these artisans from a potentially bleak future of continual poverty and unemployment? And is this government prepared to launch a full-scale investigation into this program to ensure that these artisans receive the support they need to complete their qualifications? I thank you.
Honorable Shiba.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The issue that is raised by Honorable Member, it's true that she had raised it before, and now there is a new administration at the City of Mbombela, Honorable Speaker, of which we are still in communication with that, so that we can be able to have the full report by this new administration. So we will report when we received the full report from the City of Mbombela. But now they are still busy with it. And I cannot report lies to you because we need to give them an opportunity to go through all the issues that have been raised. Thank you very much.
Are there any member statement? Honorable Weber.
Madam Speaker, may I take this opportunity to greet you all. I greet my friends and I greet my foes. This member statement has to do with the dumping sites of municipalities. Improper disposal of municipal solid waste can create unsanitary conditions And these conditions, in turn, can lead to pollution of the environment and to outbreaks of vector-borne disease, that is, diseases spread by rodents and insects. In forestry areas, it also creates a fire hazard. The tasks of solid waste management present complex technical challenges. They also pose a wide variety of administrative, economic, and social problems that must be managed and solved. That is why it is so concerning that Mpumalanga fared dismally during a municipal landfill audit last year. For the purpose of this report, waste management practices in specific municipalities were assessed to determine whether responsible management takes place and to ensure that recommendations for best practice as well as environmental, health and safety requirements were being met. Out of 21 landfill audited in the province, only one complied with more than 80% of the minimum requirements. 20 legal landfills in Mpumalanga do not comply with the minimum requirements to ensure a safe environment for the residents, and that is not even counting the illegal dumping sites. It is now of critical importance that the government introduce uniform measures aimed at reducing the amount of waste that is generated, as well as ensuring that waste is reused, recirculated, and recycled in an environmentally friendly manner or treated and disposed of in a safe manner. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Shiba.
Hey, namhlanje ngiphethe. Ngiyabonga. Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for this opportunity. The issue of environment, we are doing it together with the Department of Agriculture. And I agree with the honorable member to say that some of the landfill sites are not complying, but we are assisting municipalities. We have also, it's us, Mpumalanga, who have requested or made a proposal with the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs to say that municipalities must be given a certain percentage in their MEC fund that they can also use it for buying fleet, so that they can also be able, because when you do issues of landfill site, you need also to have the correct fleet that can assist you to maintain those. So what we need to do as COGTA, we need to monitor that in as much as we are assisting municipalities. And also in agriculture, we have launched a testing, air pollution testing station at Tabacheu. It's the 6th one. On that day, we have also, because we need also to caution our communities to assist us in terms of illegal dumping. So we have started by cleaning the streams there, together with our communities there. We are trying our level best to say that our communities must also come to the party to assist us, because alone, COGTA alone and municipalities alone will not do that. But our communities must be teach on how to maintain the issues of especially illegal dumping. But we are trying our level best. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Motions without notice. Are there any motion without notice? Honorable Mashilo.
Yabonga Speaker, Nendlu Yonke. I rise to move a motion without notice on behalf of the African National Congress to commend the South African Police Services in collaboration with officials from Department of Community Safety, Security and Liaison, from recovering meat derived from the stolen cattle around Pinar within the Mbombela local municipality. Noting that the police and department officials acted swiftly after being made aware of the illegal slaughtering of cattle in this area. As soon as they arrived at the suspicious house, 2 men fled the scene, leaving behind a light delivery vehicle they had alleged been driving. Further noting that the police seized the vehicle and meat, with which quantifying suggested that about 5 cattle had been slaughtered. The ANC then condemned any acts of criminality, and we further appeal to butchery owners to always ensure that meat or any products that they sell are not sourced from the criminal processes, as they will be accomplices to the crime and will be criminally prosecuted as well. We also urge community members to come forward and report to the authorities if they suspect criminal activities of this nature. We also can upon those with livestock to ensure that they don't leave them astray. Lastly, the ANC move that this House appreciate the response by the SAPS and officials of Department of Community Safety, Security and Liaison. I so move, Honorable Speaker.
The question before the House is whether we agree to adopt a motion agreed to. As so agreed. Honorable Mashego.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to move a motion without notice for this House to condemn the brutal killing of Fagute's family. Noting that Mr. Johnson Fagute, who is 58 years, his wife Gift Matsani, 50, 2 daughters, Princess Fagute and Priscilla Fagute, 11 and 8 respectively, were shot dead by unknown criminals on Tuesday, the 8th March 2022. Mr. Fagute was a businessman who runs cash loans in Bushbuckridge and Ekenhoek areas. Further noting that neighbors heard gunshot coming from the house of the Fagutes, and upon investigation, 2 men were seen jumping over a wall towards the direction of the R40 road. Police and medical personnel were called, and on arrival, they found the entire family shot and were all certified dead. They were all buried on the 19th of March 22 in Castile, Bushbuckridge. I move that this House passes our heartfelt condolences to the Fagutes family, friends, and the entire traumatized community of Castile. We urge the community of Castile and the surrounding areas to assist with any information that can lead to the arrest of these heartless criminals. May their soul rest in perfect peace. I so move.
The question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion agreed to. As so agreed. Are there any motions without notice? Honorable Grobler.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I rise to deliver a motion without notice on behalf of the Democratic Alliance. Noting, Honourable Speaker, that on the 21st of March 2022, the Democratic Alliance held a very successful Human Rights Day celebration in Tembisile Municipality. Joined by our federal leader, Mr. John Steenhuisen, the DA witnessed firsthand the hurdles many of the residents in this municipality go through on a daily basis. Honourable Speaker, noting that the municipality is unable to provide water to the residents, and because of this, residents need to pay anywhere between 200 and 500 rand to fill up their JoJo tanks. The homes of residents in Gemsbokspruit have been badly damaged by a storm, and they are in need of dire assistance. The delay of the Moloto rail corridor forces destitute residents to pay up to 1,200 rand per month on transport costs. And lastly, noting that Eskom load reductions is severely affecting the residents who are trying to make a living. Yes. Honourable Speaker, the sad truth is that there are many other communities like this throughout our province, and it is these residents with highly strained incomes who would be the ones who are mostly affected by the escalating cost of petrol and living increases. Given the above, Honourable Speaker, I move that this House Firstly, provide a stable and sustainable source of water to the residents of Tembisile-Hani local municipality, to ascertain the damages to houses in the area and to provide assistance to the affected houses, to expedite the construction of the Moloto Rail Corridor, and lastly, to intervene in the load reductions being imposed by ESCOM. I so move.
I want to hear someone say no.
The question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion. Agree to?
Agreed. Yes.
Motion.
We want to.
The motion is defeated. Honorable Weber. Honorable members. Honorable members. Honorable members. Honorable Weber.
Can I deliver my speech now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Madam Speaker, I hereby move on behalf of the Freedom Front Plus a motion that we welcome the appointment of Advocate Nkebe Nkenyane as the new Director of Public Prosecutions in Mpumalanga. This has been long overdue, as for the first time in more than a decade, the NPA has the full leadership structure appointed on a permanent basis. Only a full House can drive the strategy implementation and core performance of the entity. The Freedom Front Plus hopes that with its completely new leadership team in place at the provincial level, that the NPA will drive the implementation of its current strategy and related efforts to rebuild the rule of law in Mpumalanga. Just this month alone, several cases of children who were sexually assaulted were opened, and this is one area we hope that Advocate Nkenyane will clamp down on. A harsher approach with stricter prosecution is now needed to end the rule of criminals in this province. I so move, Madam Speaker.
The question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion. Agreed to? Yes, so agreed. Honorable Sidibe.
Ngiyabonga Somlomo. Ngisukumela kubonga emaphoyisa asenkomazi eSkumani ngokuthi akhone kubopha umsolwa mumbi lotholakale anetilimato letifaka ama AK47 nema R4 rifle nema explosive ngolwesibili kanye netimoto letimbili letitshontshiwe lekusolwa ukuthi betiyobamba inkunzi lejwayelekile yema haste pheceleti endeka kakhulu kulesi sifundza sakithi saseMpumalanga. Kulabasola ababili babalekile kodwa kuhle ngoba kukhona loboshiwe naletilimato titholakele. Sibonga kusebenza kwemaphoyisa ngokukhandla kulwa nalobugebengu lebulala abantu bakithi, especially ma security la hambisa letimali ngaso sonke isikhathi. I so move.
The question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion. Agreed to? As so agreed. Notices of motion. Honorable Sidibe.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Maybe before I raise my notices of motion, let me indicate that we have been raising notices of motions in this Akaus House, and they don't find space in the ATC. And that's a problem. I think the WIPARI must consider these notices of motions very serious, because there are issues that were raised by TA, by the EFF, by the ANC for debate. They still have not come to this House for debate. So let's take them serious. We're not raising them for the sake of raising. It's because we want to deal with some issues. So Honorable Speaker, I rise on behalf of the EFF to raise a notice of motion after noting that this august House has been operating without a Deputy Speaker for quite a long time now, after the untimely death of the Deputy Speaker, Honorable J.J. Skosana, last year. And there is no replacement since then, which is against the law that governs this institution. So having said that, Honorable Speaker, now nomsebenzi onzima uyabona unamlekeleli. I move that this House, in its next sitting, debate the non-replacement of the Deputy Speaker in this august House. I so move.
The motion is noted and will be dealt with accordingly. Are there any notices of motions? Formal motions? There is a formal motion in the name of the Chief Whip of the Majority Party, Honorable F.V. Mlombo. I now call upon Honorable F.V. Mlombo to formally table the motion.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I, Fana Vincent Mlombo, the Chief Whip of the Majority Party, table a notice of motion in terms of Rule 84, Sub-Rule 1B, that at this sitting of Friday today, the 25th of March 2022, I move that, number one, the House should note that the committee's report of the Mpumalanga Second Adjustment Appropriation Bill, Bill 1 of 2022, shall be tabled during the sitting by the Portfolio Committee on Premier's Office, Finance, Economic Development and Tourism for consideration by this august House. Secondly, the House should further note that Rule 192, Sub-Rule 2 of the Rules and Orders of the Legislature provides that, I quote, the Speaker must allow for the committee's report to be debated in the Legislature by some members from the relevant Portfolio Committee in accordance with the Speaker's list. I therefore move, Honourable Speaker, that the House adopts a resolution in terms of Rule 4, Sub-Rule 1, to suspend the provision of Rule 192, Sub-Rule 2, that the report of the above-mentioned Portfolio Committee not be debated during this sitting. Honourable Speaker, I so move. Thank you.
I am informed that there is no debate on this motion. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion as tabled. Agreed to? As so agreed. The Secretary shall read the first order of the day. Before the first order, Honorable Sidibe.
Yeah, thank you for recognizing me, Honorable Speaker. That's progressive. I just wanted to make a comment on the agreement on the non-debate of the adjustment, that in future, Chief Whip, consultation in time is key. I know the Chief Whip has apologized to us to say he was having some commitment through the NCOP and so forth, but for the proper running of this thing is so that we don't arrive at a situation where we're going to argue. So we support it in condition that in future it won't happen again. Thank you.
The Secretary shall read the first order of the day.
Order number 1, debate on Human Rights Day.
I have a speaker's list in front of me. I will now call upon the Honorable J.L. Tabeta from the ANC. You are allocated 4 minutes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and greetings to all honorable members of the House. Honorable Speaker, history is not an excuse, it is a fact. Apartheid existed in this country, and it did so to exclude certain races, particularly blacks, from the political, social, and economic scheme of things. The 1960s marked an important struggle against apartheid. The aftermath of the Sharpeville massacre signaled the beginning of a more brutal and intensive phase of state repression. The new policy of grand apartheid as a massive social engineering project created ethically defined Bantu stance, which was based on dividing and ruling, the intensification of the repressive laws further enrolled politically right. Other events unfolded driven by the mass democratic revolution, and their pursuit was to fight inequalities and segregation on the basis of race, mainly towards black people. Honorable Speaker, it is again this background that the post-apartheid government recognized that democratic constitutional rights are important to ensure quality. Then institutional and legal mechanisms were put in place to ensure that constitutional rights are realized. We then witnessed as democratically elected government for the first time in the history of this country. Honorable Speaker, illustrate how we have moved in recognizing human rights. The government of today implements all of its program for a human rights approach. In terms of economic empowerment, some of the program we have implemented are the support provided to SMMEs across a number of sectors. The Department of Agriculture, as an example, implements the Fortune 40 program, Masbiele Emasimini, Masbiele Esbayeni, etc. The Department of Economic Development has provided support to those in the tourism sector. We will gradually close the inequality gap on access to economy opportunities. Honorable Speaker, in ensuring the right to access quality health care.
Conclude, Honorable Member. Conclude.
Okay. Honorable Speaker, in ensuring the right of access quality health care, it is our view that health is not a privilege but an inherent basic right. We have constructed proper healthcare infrastructure which is accessible to all free of charge. We are continuously focused on those in need of healthcare, the elderly, etc. We are a caring government which ensures that the right to health is realized by all. The right to dignity is continuously restored, and today I can confirm that a number of people are beneficiaries of the housing, which is free of charge. Through our massive social assistance program, we provide social grants for all races. It is government that has ensured that no family goes to bed without food. I thank you.
Honorable Sidibe, you are given 4 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On Monday, March 21, we observed what we called officially Sharpeville Massacre, which is now intent the Human Rights Day after the dawn of democracy in 1994, where we commemorated 69 people that were killed by the apartheid security forces in Sharpeville in 1960. This Human Rights Day presented us with an opportunity moment to reflect on our history, as a country, but most importantly, to ask ourselves an important question. Are we really putting our people, basic human rights, a priority? Sadly, the answer, Honorable Speaker, to that question is a big no. And sadly, it is the very same ANC-led government that keeps on trampling on our people's human rights. Honorable Speaker, under the ANC government, basic service delivery such as clean running water, better roads, electricity, and our public healthcare system have totally collapsed, denying our people the basic human rights that they deserve. Honorable Speaker, asisho ukuthi ngaphansi kwembuso we-ANC emathuba emsebenzi nendlala kukhuphuke nga-70%. This proves that this government doesn't care about the people and doesn't care about the basic service delivery, which is the right for our people. Finally, Honorable Speaker, it is a shame and an embarrassment that we always speak of these important holidays in our calendar, and yet this provincial government can't even honor and document our own historic events that took place in this province. For example, we have the Lowveld massacre, where our brothers and sisters were killed on 11 March 1986. But there is nothing that the government is doing, in particular, the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, Gamam Tandi Show. When are we honoring our own? Because these are also struggle heroes that contributed to the liberation of our people. So, thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Lachimnarain, given 4 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the United Nations General Assembly in 1948 adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the same year the National Party government assumed power here in South Africa. The institutionalization of apartheid system was effected by recognizing race separation and the control of movement and economic activity of Black people. Hardly 12 years after the adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the apartheid regime shot and killed 69 people and injured 108 in Sharpeville. The previous regime killed peaceful protesters who were in demonstration for the abolition of the South Africans' past laws. Madam Speaker, in the main, what ignited the protest in 1960, as the events unfolded at Sharpeville, is the 1952 Past Law Act, which made it compulsory that all Black South Africans over the age of 16 to carry a passbook. The killing of the 69 people at Sharpeville in 1960 ignited the conscience of the world, with the United Nations Security Council passing Resolution 134. The resolution voiced the Council's anger at the policies and the brutality of the South African government, and further called on government to abandon apartheid systems. This UN resolution became a powerful weapon for the international anti-apartheid movement, with the designation of 21 March every year as the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination. What is terrifying is the 21st March in 1960. After all the inhumane things that happened, the apartheid regime only referred to this day as Sharpeville Day. To them, what happened on the 21st of March represents Sharpeville as a location of the incident and not the embodiment of the struggle Black people in their majority had to endure. In his statement on human rights, Oliver Tambo said, and I open quote, "Our fight is for justice. We cannot cease until we have won, as we will in time. And achieving human rights for all men, Southern Africa, we will be making our contribution to the fight for human rights and freedom for the world over." Madam Speaker, the ANC-led government, after 1994, declared the 21st of March as a holiday where all South Africans commemorate this day as Human Rights Day. The declared 21st March as Human Rights Day is politically sufficient because in 1960, at Sharpeville, the struggle was precisely about human rights which were trampled on by the apartheid regime. Today, we commemorate this day under very promising circumstances for the fight against human rights, with our Constitution hailed as one of the most progressive in the world. Our Constitution is the ultimate protector of our human rights, which were previously denied to the majority of our people under apartheid. We commemorate this day every year in order to reinforce our commitment to the Bill of Rights as enshrined in our Constitution. Madam Speaker, our drive for human dignity and basic rights is premised on our development of our country and the improvement of the living conditions of our people. As we continue to commemorate this day, let me borrow the words of the struggle icon and the first democratically elected president of South Africa, Tata Nelson Mandela, defining what human rights is when he said, and I open quote, "Thus shall we live, because we will have created a society which recognizes that all people are born equal, with each entitled in equal measure of life, liberty, prosperity, human rights, and good governance." Close quote. I thank you.
Honorable Sithole, you are given 3 minutes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and greetings to the House. Honorable Speaker, I stand before this House today proudly representing the Democratic Alliance as we debate Human Rights Day. Honorable Speaker, if ANC-led government is indeed a government that puts people first and is serious about human rights, then the 16th of August should be commemorated as the day this government gunned down 43 miners in cold blood while they were fighting for a living wage. Marikana massacre must be commemorated as a reminder of how cruel and heartless this government is. 10 years down the line, the widows of Marikana are still waiting for justice. They were robbed of their loved ones by this government. Honorable Speaker, lest we forget that Andres Tatani was killed by this government during a service delivery protest in Vicksburg. His right to life was taken away in cold blood by ANC-led government. He was killed because he was fighting for basic services. Honorable Speaker, 15-year-old Lucas Libiani from Bushbuckridge was shot dead by ANC-led government while protesting for water. His right to life taken away in cold blood by ANC-led government. He was killed because he was fighting for drinking water. Honorable Speaker, Yvonne Munisi, Pritin Kambule, Solomon Nyerere are still buried underground at Lily Mine right here in Barberton since 2016. Their families are still seeking closure. Because their families are poor, this government is making no effort whatsoever to find their bodies. Their bodies remain trapped underground. How do you talk about human rights where there is no justice? Honorable Speaker, lest we forget that the ANC-led government killed 144 mentally ill patients at Life Esidimeni by starving them to death. Their right to live was painfully taken away, and their families were left reeling in pain. Honorable Speaker, the ANC's corruption has destroyed everything that was good about Mpumalanga. Nearly 180,000 people in this province go to bed hungry every night, many of them children. Corruption denies them of their right to food, and in many cases, their right to life. Honorable Speaker, former ANC MECs that sat on these very same benches in this House are currently awaiting trials in Mpumalanga for alleged murders and rapes of young children, proving again and again that the African National Criminals cancer has destroyed our province, an organization in disarray, an organization that is directionless and has lost its moral compass. Today, the very same people have defeated a motion to help the poor people of James Boxparade in Tembisile, but they say they are concerned about people's human rights. A government that mobilizes on the basis of racial hatred. ANC-led government divide people instead of uniting them. They climb on podiums and spew venom of hatred and call it Human Rights Day. As I close, Honorable Speaker, it is government's duty to promote and protect human rights and fundamental freedom of all citizens, individuals or groups. Government must take positive action to ensure that everyone enjoys their basic human rights. I thank you.
Honorable Weba.
So it's only the EFF that has never killed people.
Honorable Weba, 1 minute.
DA is killed. Yeah.
Now, why are you clapping hand? Now, why are they clapping hand? Why EFF is
Namuhla ngiyajuluka. Madam Speaker, I rise to represent the presently disadvantaged people of South Africa and our province. We do not have any reason to celebrate Human Rights Day. What reason do I have to celebrate Human Rights Day if the ANC government is in the process of enacting the right of any cabinet minister to drive past my farm, a farm that was bought after 94, and decides he likes my farm, and then decides to take it away from me without any compensation? Do I have reason to celebrate that? A cousin of mine has a granddaughter. She was brilliant. She achieved distinctions in all her subjects. Her average mark for all her subjects was almost 90%. She was not allowed to study medicine. In her class was another pupil with an average of less than 60%. But she was allowed to study medicine. Does that girl have any right to celebrate on Human Rights Day? Madam Speaker, I plead and I insist on equity and of justice. Yes, justice and...
Honorable Weber, your time is up. Honorable Lubisi, you are given 4 minutes.
Ngibonga Somlomo. Ngibingelele kumalunga endlu yeshayamithetho egameni le-African National Congress. Nge-Human Rights Day sikhumbula ebantfu labang-69 labamnyama lebadutshula ababulawa maphoyisa embuso welibandlululo eSharpeville. Ngetulu kwaloko lelo langa kwalinyatwa abantwana nebesifazane labang-180 sono sabo kubuthana babhikishela ukuthi kuvale umthetho wemapasi lobowucinzetela indlu lemnyama. Somlomo lenhlekelele yatsinza umhlaba wonkana. Kungako mave lamanyenti enda luswinyo kumbuso welibandlululo ngoba bewuhlukubeta amalungelo eluntu. Kahle kahle lelanga bekungamele likhunjulwe tinhlangano letifana nabo Democratic Alliance nabo FF Plus ngoba bomkhulu wabo ngabo lebacedza lesive eSharpeville. Sibonga ukuthi umbuso we-ANC ute netinguquko letingabandlululi ngekwelibala kanti futhi malungelo eluntu ngisho imbala nebalabamhlophe ahlonishwa. Kungako mongameli waphambilini umnumzane Nelson Mandela washicilela umthethosisekelo khona lena eSharpeville nga-1996 kukhombisa ukuthi sitibophelele kuhlonipha amalungelo singuhulumende noma umbuso we-ANC. Namuhla sinemalungelo lafana nalawa: kulingana, inkululeko, kutenkolo, kubeka luvo, kuhlanganyela, kuhamba nekuhlala nobe ngabe ngikuphi, umbuthano, kutembusave. Sengiphethe Somlomo, singuhulumende we-ANC sitimisele ukuthi sivikele malungelo eluntu kanti futhi tikhungo letifana nabo Human Rights Commission tivulelwe noma ngubani lobona ngathi malungelo akhe ayahlukubeteka. Sikhutsata nekuthi tikhalo Tingayiswa kuma parliamentary constituency office la sabalele sifundza sonke. Ngiyabonga Somlo.
That concludes the debate on Human Rights Day. The Secretary shall read the second order of the day.
Order number 2, consideration of a report of the Portfolio Committee on Premier's Office, Finance, Economic Development and Tourism on the Mpumalanga Second Adjustments Appropriation Bill, B1 of 2022. Second reading, Mpumalanga Second Adjustments Appropriation Bill, B1 of 2022.
I have received an apology from Honorable Makaringi, and I will now call upon Honorable Evim Lombo to table the reports of the Portfolio Committee on Premier's Office, Finance, Economic Development and Tourism on Mpumalanga Second Adjustment Appropriation Bill, B1 of 2022.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. I rise to table the report on Premier's Office, Finance, Economic Development and Tourism on the Mpumalanga Second Adjustment Appropriation Bill for consideration by this August House. Thank you.
I am informed that there is no debate on this report. I shall now go vote by vote in compliance with Rule 192. Vote 1, Office of the Premier, Adjusted Budget 2021-2022. The budget of the Office of the Premier decreases from 383 million to 353 million. Those who say yes to show by raising hands.
Nyembe. House scheme.
Thank you. Those who say no to show by raising hands. Vote 3, Provincial Treasury, Adjusted Budget 2021-2022. The budget of Provincial Treasury decreases from 481 million to 436 million. Those who say yes to show by raising hands.
Amkhabela mngani wami. Mngani wami.
Thank you. Those who say no to show by raising hands. Vote 6, Economic Development and Tourism, Adjusted Budget 2021-2022. The budget of Department of Economic Development and Tourism decreases from 1.637 billion to 1.498 billion. Those who say yes to show by raising hands. Thank you. Those who say no to show by raising hands. Vote 8, Public Works, Roads and Transport, Adjusted Budget 2021-2022. The budget of the Department of Public Works, Roads and Transport increases from 4.842 billion to 4.886 billion. Those who say yes to show by raising hands. Those who say no to show by raising hands. Vote 9, Community Safety, Security and Liaison, Adjusted Budget 2021-2022. The budget of the Department of Community Safety, Security and Liaison decreases from 1.524 billion to 1.501 billion. Those who say yes to show by raising hands. Thank you. Those who say no. Vote 11. Culture, Sport and Recreation, Adjusted Budget 2021-2022. The budget of Department of Culture, Sport and Recreation increases from 557 million to 629 million. Those who say yes to show by raising hands. Thank you. Those who say no to show by raising hands. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to approve this adjusted budget, the Mpumalanga Second Adjustment Appropriation Bill 2022, B1 of 2022, and the report of the Portfolio Committee on Premier's Office, Finance, Economic Development and Tourism agreed to? As so agreed. The Secretary shall read the third order of the day.
Order number 3, third reading, short title, Mpumalanga Second Adjustments Appropriation Act of 2022.
The Secretary shall read the fourth order of the day.
Order number 4, questions for oral reply to the members of the Executive Council.
I have a question paper in front of me with questions for oral reply to members of the Executive Council known as MECs. I am informed that the question paper was duly circulated to all members of the legislature. We'll now proceed to questions for oral reply as they appear on the question paper. The first question is from Honorable R.J. Sithole from the Democratic Alliance to ask the MEC for education. Honorable MEC Majuba, over to you to respond.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The question raised is from R.J. Stolle from the DA to ask the MEC for education. With regards to Annexure D Infrastructure Program 2021-22 financial year, which was circulated to honorable members with the department's 2021-22 budget documents, can the Honorable MEC please indicate the following? As per the above mentioned document, Ngobangolwazi Secondary School is identified as an unsafe structure and has an allocation of 4,482,623 for the 2021-22 financial year. Can the MEC give the status of this project and if this project will be initialized in the 2021-22 financial year? If not, why not? A contractor was appointed on the 24th February 2022 to refurbish and alter the existing structure, including toilets, administration block, classrooms and toilets, reconstruction of the perimeter fence, and construction of 4 new classrooms. The project is scheduled for completion in January 2023. Roman figure 2, as per the above mentioned document, Masinagane Special School has an allocation of 1,769,361 for the 2021-22 financial year. Can the MEC give the status of this project, and if this project will be initialized in the 2021-22 financial year? Not why not? Response: yes, the project started in this 2021-22 financial year. A contractor was appointed on the 20th December 2021 to convert the existing classroom blocks into a dormitory and provision for a temporary guardhouse, including external electrical and mechanical works. The project is scheduled for completion in April 2022. Roman figure 3, as per the above mentioned document, Klapsprenger Primary School is an infrastructure project marked as upgrades and additions. Has an allocation of 5,334,648 for the 2021-22 financial year. Can the MEC give the status of this project, and if this project will be completed in the 2021-22 financial year? If not, why? Response: the project is currently on hold due to the non-approval of the variation order. That is Provincial Treasury approval of the extra works undertaken on the civil structural works on the 2-story 6 classrooms. The change of scope from renovation of 4 times classrooms to construction of 4 times classrooms after the structural integrity of the classrooms has been found to be compromised. This has affected the project budget, and in order for the department to approve the additional budget allocation, it is the mandate of Provincial Treasurer to grant the approval of the variation order of the current magnitude. The reasons for the non-approval of the variation order was due to what Provincial Treasurer has deemed poor planning resulting from carrying out designs parallel to the construction process. Provincial Treasury's sentiments were echoed before the project commencement, whereby the department advised the school community for construction works to be implemented after planning and design was completed. But the school community refused, citing issues of learner placement challenges in Bombela town and overcrowding. Experienced challenges in Bombela town and overcrowding experience at the school, hence the current challenge. The department, while seeking technical advice to close the matter, is concurrently, on behalf of the implementing agent, drafting the response to motivate for the approval of the variation order. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Honorable Sitole, do you have a follow-up question?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thank you, Honorable MEC. I just want to find out, in terms of Masinakane Special School, the Honorable MEC mentioned that the contract has been appointed and work will be completed by April 2022. Honorable MEC, I just want to find out, why are you building across the school, not in the schoolyard? It's like, this is a school with learners with, a lot of challenges, mentally, physically, you know that. So this temporary plan or structure that you are renovating, why is it so far? Because this requires now more caregivers, more care for the children to cross the road, which the department is not paying for. It's the SGB that must pay for more caregivers, more of everything. I just want to understand the logic for building across the road, not at the school at Masinakane. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Stolle. We are building across the school because already there is a structure there, and which we think that that structure, it is going to limit the cost of building if it is built in that area. And we think that those schools which are closed should be utilized for other purposes. If ever there is any need for further renovations, that should be the case. It is exactly that why we're doing that. But we are going to come up with some precautionary measures of making sure that the safety of those children is taken care of as they will be able to go to their school. I frequently pass by that place. It's not a place of high traffic volume, and it will be possible for us to can take care of that. Thank you.
Honorable Sitole.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My second question is on the infrastructure projects. I just want to find out from the Honorable MEC. I just want to know the reasons for the infrastructure projects that have been planned and budgeted for. If they change, like according to this document, how does that process work? Because these are projects that have been planned and budgeted for, and then for some reason they change. I just want to know the process in that regard. Thank you, Honorable MEC.
Honorable MEC.
Thank you, Honorable Stolle. I think you'll recall that all of us were befallen by an unfortunate, unprecedented COVID-19 that came, and it disturbed our plans of projects for construction, and as such, that led to the disturbance of the flow in projects. And the process to deal with that is that one of ourselves having to restructure our budgets and make sure that our budgets will have to move according to what had happened, and make sure that we continue to deliver to the people as expected. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Are there follow-up questions from other honorable members? Honorable Sidibe.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable MEC, the department committed to build 2 new schools in Nelspruit area, 2 new primary schools, because of the lack of schools or classrooms in the area due to high influx of people and the continuing growing of the town, and many people coming to stay to town. And just to indicate that, why is it not part of their infrastructure in terms of a report? Because That commitment was done 3 years ago, but still there's no progress. And as a result, every time the school reopens, there's a whole lot of crisis in the area of Nelspruit, including other areas that are growing. But in this case, I'm particular in Nelspruit because that's where you committed, and the department said they've set aside a budget for that, but nothing is coming up. Thank you.
Honorable MEC.
Yes, let me agree with you fully that we committed ourselves to build additional schools in fast-growing towns, and that remains our commitment. As we are saying that the situation that disturbed us building some of the projects was this advent of COVID-19. But that remains in our plans. We are still committed to doing that, and that is still in our programs. And it is our priority in making sure that we address the challenge we are referring to, because it's what we're experiencing throughout the province, and we want to deal with that as speedily as possible. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Can the MEC proceed to the next question from Honourable NP Mkabela?
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Question is from Honourable NP Mkabela from the EFF to ask the MEC for education. Tabachwe boarding school in Bohlabela district is reported to have been temporarily closed 2 years later after it has been opened, leaving 1,200 learners stranded and sitting at home when other learners across the province are continuing with their studies. And this is due to lack of proper sanitation and also found not to be complying with COVID-19 regulations. Can the Honourable MEC please answer the following? Roman figure 1, what is the department's intervention in this matter, and what are the remedial actions that will prevent this from happening in the near future? Response: Tabachwe boarding school was closed for 4 days in February 2022 due to unavailability of water. In order to mitigate this challenge, a technician was dispatched to the school to examine the pumps and ensure that there is increased pumping of water into the water reservoirs. Furthermore, the department arranged that water be supplied to the school using water tankers if the need arises. It should also be noted that as part of the project scope, the following sanitation project facilities were provided to the boarding school. For water, the school has 3 functional boreholes in place, connected, and the on-site treatment plant with 2 water tanks, one with 2.5 megaliter storage capacity. The challenge experienced was as a result of theft of some parts at the borehole self-starters. The school was advised to source the missing parts while a direct connection of the system is used as a temporary measure. This also has a direct effect on water pumping to the reservoirs. The subcontractor has been sought to do phase rotation on the water treatment plant system which process water from the boreholes and feeds to the tanks reservoir. On sanitation, 201 flushing toilets and 27 urinals provided as follows: 119 toilet seat and 16 urinals for both primary and secondary, 24 toilet seats for the dormitories, 32 toilet seats for the Grade R Center, 20 toilet seats and 10 urinals in the change rooms, and 6 seats in the administration block and 10 seats in the kitchen. The water pumps and boreholes have been fixed. Water was restored at Tabashwe Boarding School on the 15th of March 2022. The school has developed an academic recovery plan which will assist learners to catch up on lost time when they return from autumn holidays starting from the 4th of April 2022. Roman figure 2. How many schools in the province that are facing the same problem of lacking proper sanitation as Tabashwe Boarding School that we don't know about? Response: In the advent of the COVID-19 pandemic, the department had 249 schools which had challenges to ensure adequate uninterrupted access to water. The Department of Human Settlement, on behalf of the Department of Education, embarked on the borehole program, where boreholes were drilled and equipped in 135 schools. The remaining 86 schools will be completed through the Department of Public Works, Roads and Transport. It should, however, be noted that these outstanding schools have been supported to enter into agreements with individual municipalities as water service authorities to receive water through water tankers and pay for such service through their paper budgets allocated from the department. In terms of sanitation, there are 28 schools that have challenges of inadequate compilation of acceptable and unacceptable toilet facilities. These 28 schools are all with the Department of Public Works, Roads and Transport for project implementation. As an interim strategy, the department has provided 10 of these schools with chemical toilets and 18 with mobile flushing toilets. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
Honourable Mkabela, do you have a follow-up question?
Cancer, Honourable Speaker. I am covered with the response for Roman figure 1, but for Roman figure 2, I have a clarity seeking one. Honourable MEC, you are reporting here that 135 have been attended to and only 86 are remaining. I just want to check, when is this going to be attended to by the Public Works in order for us not to overlap to 2023, maybe there should be time frame to say when are these going to be attended to, the 86 schools that are remaining. Thank you very much.
Well, the 86 schools that you're talking to are part of our program up until 2024. But when it comes to sanitation, those schools who have got the challenge of pit latrine toilets, according to our program, in this coming financial year, we are planning to finish them and make sure that in the province we are not going to have pit latrine toilets immediately. But these other projects are continuing up until 2024 according to our plans. But the ones of water, as we said, that they are in the public works program. As we speak now, the public works is already dealing with those, and we hope and believe sooner than later they will be dealt with once and for all. Thank you. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Are there follow-up questions from other honourable members? Honourable Sidibe.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable MEC, the 2020-2021 Auditor General's reports, findings, among others, is that the department has an irregular or fruitless and wasteful expenditure of about 5 million, 4 to 5 million for the GNP, Government Nutrition Program, in that school wherein the service provider was paid, but the school was closed by that time during COVID, the Tabachewu boarding school. And it also established that the service provider was not appointed through the normal supply chain processes, through the competent bidding. And what have you done about that? Because it's there in the Auditor General's report 21-22, to be correct. Yeah.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Most of those services which were not rendered whilst they were paid for, especially during this time of COVID-19 plus the rendering of services such as PPEs, those issues are being investigated by SIU. I was with SIU, I think on Tuesday, where they were giving me files of the investigations that are underway insofar as all those issues are concerned. And we are definitely going to follow up on those issues because we are not friends of any form of corruption. And we are going to make sure that those who are found to have done something wrong insofar as that is concerned, the law will have to take its course. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
Is there any follow-up? We'll proceed to the next question. The next question is from Honorable J.L. Tabete from the ANC to ask the MEC for social development. We have received an apology for the MEC for social development. And in terms of our rules and orders, rule number 101, 1B, if a member is not present the question is not replied to, it will be a standing over question. It will reflect in our question paper as the first question. Then we'll proceed to the next question from Honorable GC Shabalala from the ANC to ask the MEC for education. Honorable MEC, can you please respond to the questions from Honorable Shabalala?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Question is from Honorable GC Shabalala from the ANC to ask MEC for education. A decision has been made recently taken by Cabinet to end rotational schooling with immediate effect, and that all primary, secondary, and special schools from both public and independent schools should resume on a full-time basis. Roman figure 1, considering the above, can the Honorable MEC take this House into confidence that indeed the above decision by Cabinet was successfully implemented by all the affected sectors within the department? Response: yes, all schools successfully returned to daily attendance with effect from the 7th February 2022. Roman figure 2, if so, how many staff complement and learners within the department were in attendance on Monday, the 7th of February 2022? Response: a total of 38,213 staff members, which comprise of 32,095 educators and 6,118 non-teaching staff members, and representing 95.25% and 1,073,354 learners, representing 96.5%, were in attendance in our provincial schools on Monday, the 7th February 2022. Roman figure 3, in compliance with COVID-19 protocols, did the department manage to supply all necessary PPEs for the staff complement, teachers, and learners? Response: yes, the department managed to supply all the necessary PPEs to schools. In the current financial year, funds amounting to 98 million for the procurement of replacement PPE was transferred to schools in November 2021 in preparation for the 2022 school reopening. A further amount of 175 million is still being transferred to schools for the 2022 academic year. A guideline document on which resources should be replenished and how to report on this provision was sent to schools. Roman figure 4, working in collaboration with the Department of Health in the province, can the Honorable MEC share light with this House as to how many learners aged 12 to 17 and older have been vaccinated so far? The response: as reported by the Department of Health, as of the 5th March 2022, a total of 533,469 children of school-going age 12 to 17 years have been vaccinated. Ehlanzeni is 218,174. Gersibande is 145,024. Kangala is 170,271. This vaccination has taken place in the main in public vaccination sites. However, the department, in collaboration with the Department of Health, has issued communication to schools encouraging them to seek parental consent for learners to be vaccinated by the Department of Health within the school premises. Once consent is received, the Department of Health officials, as part of implementing the integrated school health program, will use schools as vaccination sites for the children aged 12 to 17 years. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
Honorable Shabalala, do you have a follow-up question?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I am covered. The Honorable MEC responded accordingly to all the questions. Thank you.
Are there follow-up questions from other honorable members? The next question is from Honorable RJ Sitole from Democratic Alliance to ask the MEC for education. Can the Honorable MEC respond to the questions?
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. The question is from RJ Stolle to MEC for Education. With regards to the Department of Education, closing of schools in the past 4 years, can the MEC please indicate the following? One, whether any schools were closed in the Mpumalanga province during 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021. If so, what is the name of each school that was closed during each specified year, and why was each specified school closed? Response: the department closed 61 schools since 2018 as follows. In 2018, 24 schools were closed. In 2019, 28 schools were closed. In 2020, 2 schools were closed. And in 2021, 7 schools were closed. In the main, schools are closed when they are non-viable, meaning that they are small and are making resourcing them a challenge. These schools could be merged to form a mega school, such as what happened with the boarding schools, accommodating learners from non-viable farm schools. Schools are also closed due to the rationalization of schools program. This program aligns schools to the norms and standards for school infrastructure and the South African Schools Act, which defines primary school as grade R to 7 and the secondary school as grade 8 to 12. A list of all these schools is provided as Annexure A. Roman figure 2, how many schools in the department is the department planning to close during the 2022 academic year? Please provide reason for the closure. Response: 36 schools are planned for closure in 2022 as outlined below. School which is from Bohlabela, Cottondale, Mpisi Primary, is to be closed for low enrollment, to be merged with Jameane in 2023 as soon as construction of the new school has been completed. And Bohlabela in Thulamahashe Primary is to be closed. Consultation processes are underway. Low enrollment to be merged with Zwide Primary in 2023. And also Sebeka Primary. Consultation processes are underway. Low enrollment to be merged with Mhlanga Primary to form a full primary school from grades R to 7 in 2023. Gersbande, Likwa East, Lubanga Primary School, low enrollment to be merged with Hambanats Primary in 2022. And in Togozo Primary School, low enrollment to be merged with Tobane Primary in 2022. Matalaza Primary School, low enrollment to be merged with Puzamanzi Primary in 2022. In Donald, Emachegechegeni Primary, low enrollment to be merged with Silinzile Primary in 2022. Mhlangazana, low enrollment to be merged with Phumelele Primary in 2022. In Bethel, Bonani Primary, low enrollment to be merged with Friedman Primary in 2022. Wachalachte Primary, low enrollment to be merged with Jobets Flay Primary in 2022. Friedman Primary, low enrollment to be merged with Chebisa Primary in 2022. Chebisa Primary, low enrollment to be merged with the Friedman in 2022. In Britain, Klebstapel Primary, low enrollment to be merged with Siakatula Primary in 2022. Brighton, Ranking Primary, low enrollment to be merged with Mtulwana Primary in 2022. Carolina, Ezindongeni Primary, low enrollment to be merged with Gopram Primary in 2022. Mashishila, Bong Mkwanazi Primary, low enrollment to be merged with Father Charles Primary in 2022. Ekuphumeleni Primary, low enrollment to be merged with Masakani Primary in 2022. Hambanatsi Primary, low enrollment to be merged with Lipata Primary in 2022. Inkaba Primary, low enrollment to be merged with Steinsdorp Primary School in 2022. Ngonini Primary, to be merged with Inyeti Primary in 2022 due to low enrollment. Steinsdorp Primary, low enrollment to be merged with Inkaba Primary. Vakarstrom, Begitemba Primary, low enrollment to be merged with Mabula Primary in 2022. Mabula Primary, low enrollment to be merged with Begitemba Primary in 2022. In Kangala, Mamitlake in Manuka Secondary School to be merged with Mamatli in 2022 due to low enrollment and to realign to the fully fledged secondary school. Veltrefield, Mabogo Primary, low enrollment to be merged with Vumazonke in 2022. Wachafontein West, Nyabela Primary to be merged with Butlebemfundo in 2022 due to its low enrollment. In Siabuswa 2, Jabulile Primary to be merged with Begazela in 2022 due to its low enrollment. Emalahleni 3, Springbok Colliery to be merged with Impilo Primary in 2022 due to its low enrollment. of less than 135. Velrefiade, Ndedema Primary to be merged with Mandlagababa 2022 due to its low enrollment. Marapiane, Sibisi Primary to be merged with Masika 2022 due to its low enrollment of less than 135. Wefontaine South, Tobelane Primary to be merged and learners released to Vumabesala in 2022 due to its low enrollment of less than 135. Gezane Primary to be merged and learners released to Vumabesala in 2022 due to its low enrollment of less than 135. Velta Friede, Vumazonke Primary to be closed in 2022 due to low enrollment. Mandlagababa Primary also to be closed in 2022 due to low enrollment. Tweefontein South, so Tobelana Primary, low enrollment to be closed in 2022. Gazane Primary, low enrollment to be closed in 2022. Roman figure 3, can the MEC please indicate since 2015 how many schools have been built to replace those that have been closed, and how many learners has these closures affected? Response: since 2015, 23 complete schools have been built to replace unsafe structures and to augment capacity. The closures of the schools since 2015 affected 9,319 learners. And thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Sitole, do you have a follow-up question?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thank you, Honorable MEC. Through you, Honorable Speaker, I would like to request to the MEC if we can have the report, if he can avail the report to us. And my question will be, in terms of the 36 schools that will be merging or closing, what is the MEC planning to do with those schools, like the actual school, the buildings? And will merging not cause overcrowding on the schools where the other school is going? Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Honorable Member. When we take a decision to merge schools, we have already calculated the number of schools that will be there, vis-a-vis those learners who will be transferred to those schools. And as such, we're going to do our level best to avoid overcrowding as much as we can. And when it comes to schools which are being closed, the infrastructure is property of Public Works, and obviously we'll have to take it back to Public Works, and the Mpumalanga government will have to decide on what form of service will be rendered in those infrastructure that will be there. But we can say that the process is done in a manner that we make sure that we engage with everybody, and we don't think, we are going to make sure that we supply you with the information directly. Thank you.
Are there follow-up questions from other honorable members? Honorable Mfokeng.
Thanks, Honorable Speaker. Just a question to the Honorable MEC. It is really proper to make the schools under current conditions. But the question would be, was it considered the issue of scholar transport? Because you mentioned that at Mabola Primary School it's going to be MEC with another primary school closer to Ward 5 in Vakestrom. So why I'm asking that question, Honourable Speaker, is that currently the learners of Qetela High School are struggling to get transport, to transport them at Kwangem, currently speaking. So parents are using more money, so they were MEC'd. So is the issue of scholar transport really considered and looking into all the facts so that the kids and the parents, they don't struggle? Because they arrive at home at around about 6:30. I'm talking about something that I know. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Member. I would wish to be given the particulars of what you are referring to, because according to policy, all those learners who qualify to be transported as according to specified kilometers are supposed to be transported, unless if you find that those kids are leaving a school next door them, and because they prefer a school that is at a faraway distance, they decide to go there, then they are not funded. But in case they have to travel due to the need that they have to travel, they have to be a scholar transport for them. But if there are cases which are not attended to, I would appreciate if I can be given that information of that specific area of learners who are stranded, as you say, so as we can be able to deal with that specifically. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
Honourable Mkabela.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I thought Honourable Mufokeng is going to cover me, but this one I think is different from the one that the MEC has already responded to. This question is about the scholar transport. I just want to check if you have considered scholar transport for those learners that you are moving from a particular school to another school. Not this one that Honourable Mufokeng is talking about. For these ones that you are responsible for, because we are moving kids from this school to another school. Have you considered the issue of providing scholar transport to them? Thank you very much.
Honourable MEC.
Thank you, Honourable Member. In most cases, when we are taking learners from one school to another, we consider the distance such that that distance will be a distance that is not going to be in need of any transportation. But in case we find that there is need for transportation, we are obliged by policy as the department that those learners are supposed to be transported by us, obviously, if they qualify for that. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
The next question is from Honourable N.P. Mkabela from the EFF to ask the MEC for education. And in terms of our rules and orders, Rule 103, Sub-Rule 5, states that not more than 4 questions for oral reply may be put to a member of the Executive Council in respect of any one department on any particular question day. Therefore, this question will reflect in our questions for oral reply. Next time, it will be standing over. Thank you, Honourable MEC. Then the next question is from Honourable TMJ Khroviemogen from the Democratic Alliance to ask the MEC for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. Honourable MEC Shiba, can you please respond to the questions?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The question from Honorable TMJ Rovem again, DA to ask MEC for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs is as follows. Honorable MEC, in November 2019, the former MEC for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Mr. Mandla Msibi, called for investigations based on Section 106, subsection 1B of the Local Government Municipal Systems Act to be conducted in Dr. J.S. Moroka, Lekwa, Dr. Pixliga Isakaseme, and Gavin Mbeki as well. Given the above analogy, will the MEC answer the following questions? Roman figure 1. Were the Section 106 reports tabled in all of the municipalities mentioned above, and are these reports being made publicly available? If not, why not? The answer: the department conducted investigation in terms of Section 106, subsection 1B of the Local Government Municipal Systems Act of 2000 in the following municipalities, and they were concluded on the indicated dates. Lekwa concluded in July 2018. Dr. J.S. Moroka concluded in March 2020. Dr. Pixliga Isakaseme concluded in June 2020. Gavin Mbeki concluded in June 2020. Dipaliseng concluded in September 2021. Nkomazi concluded in October 2021. Emalahleni concluded in November 2021. The reports and the findings were handed over to the municipalities for them to develop action plans and implement the findings as follows. Lekwa on the 8th of July 2020, Dr. J.S. Moroka, Dr. Pixliga Isakaseme, Gavin Mbeki on the 6th of October 2020. And Dipaliseng was handed over on the 10th of February 2022. The reports from Nkomazi and Emalahleni have not yet been handed over. The reports, once handed over to the municipalities, become their documents for them to process and implement the recommendations. The reports have also been handed over to the legislature, NCOP, and to the Minister of DCOG. The reports can be requested from the municipality following the relevant legislation, such as Promotion of Access to Information Act, the PAIA. COGTA has also established a task team that comprises of Office of the Premier, Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Department of Community Safety, Security and Liaison, Provincial Treasury, and SAPS. This committee has been established to oversee the work being done by the municipalities in implementing the recommendations of the Section 106 investigation reports in each of the affected municipalities. Among the key tasks of the task team will be to interrogate the work that is being done by the municipalities to implement the findings of the investigation work and advise the accounting officer and the executive authority. Roman figure 2. In rands, how much money did all of this Section 106 investigation cost the province? The cost are as follows. Dipaliseng, service provider being Samba Solutions, the amount is 953,748. Nkomazi, service provider being Mahlatsi, Seleke, Intlu, the amount is 498,950, 50 cents. Dr. J.S. Moroka, a service provider being Aunowiz, the amount is 556,205. Gavin Mbeki, Mahlatsi Seleke, Intlu, the amount is 498,950, 50 cents. For Dr. Pixliga Isakaseme, TMN Homo and Associate, Intlu,
The amount is 495,000. For Liqua, service provider, it's Grant Thornton, amount is 480,000. Then Emalahleni, service provider, it's Analytical Forensic Investigators. The amount is 787,228.43. Roman figure 3, after the tabling of these reports, did all the municipalities mentioned above follow the recommendations made by the investigating body? If not, why not? The answer, yes. All the affected municipalities developed action plans to respond to the findings. These action plans were tabled and approved by the respective councils. The department guided the municipalities on the development of the action plans. The findings are being implemented in the short term, medium term, and long term. The municipalities are implementing the action plans as adopted by the respective councils. Roman figure 4. There were some serious findings made in Liqua, Dr. J.S. Moroka, and Governor Mbeki local municipalities against various senior managers in these 3 municipalities since the tabling of these reports. What actions have been taken by your department or local municipality? The answer, in Dr. Pixley Isakaseme, the municipality has instituted consequence management against officials currently in the employ of the municipality who have been implicated in allegations of wrongdoing. The has been suspended and is undergoing disciplinary processes, and the PMU manager is also on suspension and undergoing disciplinary processes. The following cases of fraud and corruption have also been reported to law enforcement agents in Dr. Pixley Ka Isakaseng. The conduct of the PMU manager, Mr. Mpangeva, in the awarding of MEC projects. The conduct of the supply chain official, Mr. Hatebe, and the PMU manager, Mr. Mpangeva, in the abuse and non-compliance of supply chain management processes, including fictitious quotations and supplies. The selling of RDP houses and empty stands by former Councillor T.A. Mazibuko. In Governor Mbeki, municipality has initiated disciplinary processes against the following implicated officials: Advocate T.M. Gininda, Mr. M.H. Ramuleta, Mr. S. Razmeni, Mr. T.I. Pungwayo, Mr. E. Mkompe, Mr. S. Mkwena. The following cases have been reported to law enforcement agents by the municipality: corrupt relationship between councillors, officials, and service providers; non-compliance to supply chain processes leading to irregular appointment of service providers, illegal extension of contracts, etc. Abuse of and non-compliance to supply chain management processes. There are findings of deviations on projects and irregular expenditure. In Liqua, the municipality has referred the matters to law enforcement agents whilst they deal with internal disciplinary processes. The following cases have been reported to law enforcement agents: irregular appointment of service provider for the compilation of the general valuation roll and the extension of the existing general valuation roll; non-compliance to supply chain management processes and irregular appointment of service providers, PMU manager, and the former MM; irregular appointment of Tapiwe Logistics and Kalandra Trading 621 Pty Ltd JV; non-compliance of the Municipal Supply Chain Management Regulation 32 on appointments done using this regulation, that is the appointment of Nako Liso Consulting Tacron Pty Ltd. In Dr. J.S. Moroka, The municipality has referred the following cases and have reported to law enforcement agents, whilst they deal with internal disciplinary processes. Act of nepotism in the irregular employment of Ms. K. Sekwala, the daughter of Councillor M. Sekwala. Appointment of Ms. S. Ngwana and Ms. G. Ntuli, wives of Councillor Matonsela, and the appointment of Ms. M. Maja, wife of Councillor Ntlailan. Abuse and non-compliance to the Municipality Supply Chain Management Regulation 32 on appointment of service providers, resulting in fictitious invoices being submitted without services being rendered. Irregular extension of contract. Matapunuka Trading CC's contract was extended irregularly, and there were acts of fraud as the extension letter was backdated. Irregular appointment of internal audit service provider, irregular appointment of 2 security companies, CEDAS and Matimpule Security Services. The 40 million spent on the construction of a fresh produce market that was never completed. 18 million spent for boreholes on drought relief projects, with some boreholes being drilled in homes of councillors and officials in the municipality. Abuse of municipal petrol cards, fleet by officials, irregular awarding of bursaries to Ms. P. Riba and Ms. M. Bochoman. Roman figure 5. Honorable MEC, in August 2021, you called for a Section 106 investigation into the affairs of Emalahleni local municipality. Has the report been completed and tabled in the municipality? And if so, were there any dire findings? The answer, yes. The investigation was completed in November 2021. The report has not been tabled to council yet. It is still to be tabled to the Executive Council before it can be tabled to the municipality. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Morgan, do you have a follow-up question?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, through you, could I please request that we get a written response, the MEC's response now, please? Thank you.
Honorable MEC.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, we will provide them with the written responses as requested.
Are there follow-up questions from other honorable members? Thank you, Honorable MEC. That brings us to the end of the questions. The Secretary shall read the 5th order of the day.
Order number 5, consideration of reports of the Portfolio Committee on Public Works, Roads and Transport, Community Safety, Security and Liaison. 5.1, oversight visit conducted at Tembisi Lehani Local Municipality, Ngangala District, held on 7 February 2022, Road P95/1, Verena to Gauteng border, Department of Public Works, Roads and Transport. 5.2, third quarterly performance report for 2021-22 financial year, Department of Public Works, Roads and Transport. 5.3, third quarterly performance report for 2021-22 financial year, Department of Community Safety, Security and Liaison.
I now call upon the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Public Works, Roads and Transport, Community Safety, Security enlisting Honorable N. Mahlangu to table these reports.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise on behalf of the Portfolio Committee to request the House to adopt the report as presented.
I am informed that there is no debate on these reports. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the reports as tabled by Honorable Mahlangu agreed to. The Secretary shall read the sixth order of the day.
Order number 6, consideration of reports of the Portfolio Committee on Agriculture, Rural Development, Land and Environmental Affairs. 6.1, oversight visit conducted at Mkondo Agri Hub at Mkondo Local Municipality for February 2022. 6.2, oversight visit conducted at Mkondo Agri Hub at Mkondo Municipality 6 December 2021. 6.3, oversight visit conducted at Mkondo One-Stop Center at Mkondo Local Municipality 4 February 2022. 6.4, third quarterly performance report for 2021 financial year, Department of Agriculture, Rural Development and Land and Environmental Affairs. 6.5, revised annual performance plan for 2021-22 financial year, Department of Agriculture, Rural Development, Land and Environmental Affairs.
I now call upon the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Agriculture, Rural Development, Land and Environmental Affairs, Honorable PM Lubisi, to table these reports.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I herein table the aforementioned reports before the House for consideration. Thank you.
I am informed that there is no debate on these reports. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt these reports as tabled by Honorable Lubisi. Agreed to. The Secretary shall read the seventh order of the day.
Order number 7, consideration of reports of the Portfolio Committee on Premier's Office, Finance, Economic Development and Tourism. 7.1, oversight visit conducted at the Bushbuck Ridge Nature Reserve at the Bushbuck Ridge Local Municipality on 8 February 2022 and the Mdala Nature Reserve on 9 February 2022 at Dr. J.S. Moroka Local Municipality, Department of Economic Development and Tourism. 7.2, third quarterly performance report for 2021-22 financial year, Office of the Premier.
I now call upon the Honorable F.M. Lombo on behalf of Honorable Makaringe, the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Premier's Office, Finance and Economic Development and Tourism, to table these reports.
Honourable Speaker, I hereby table the report on behalf of the Portfolio Committee for consideration by the House. Thank you.
I am informed that there is no debate on these reports. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt these reports as tabled by Honorable Mlombo. Agreed to. So agreed. The Secretary shall read the eighth order of the day.
Order number 8, consideration of a report of the Portfolio Committee on Health and Social Development, third quarterly performance report for 2021-22 financial year, Department of Social Development.
I now call upon the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Health and Social Development, Honorable J.L. Tabete, to table the report.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I request the House to adopt the report as tabled.
I am informed that there is no debate on this report. Now the question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the report as tabled by Honorable Tabete. Agreed to. As so agreed. That concludes the business of the day. You are requested to remain standing at your places until the procession has left the chamber. The House is adjourned until further notice.